Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestleslam, the podcast brought to you by Manscaped.com and the Macau Casino Cork City, pro partners of the Wrestleslam podcast. I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Philip Connolly, and also Matt will be back next week. So as always, Matt, he'll be back next week, guys. Don't worry.
I wasn't there, but did he take a really bad fall Saturday night?
Matt?
Did he take any bumps or anything?
So what happened was, there was where we were sitting. There was a lot of stuff. I apparently used Matt as a shield. So when Raven Creed was fighting Rare and O'Connor, I just happened to be behind Matt, and I did actually shield. Yeah, I used him as a shield. So he's safe and sound. He is safe and sound. So, guys, we're just going to quickly touch base in regards to Cork and RCW, and it was an incredible night at the Kino Cork for RCW Rebel County Wrestling, and there was a lot of stuff happening in that. Now, Phil was away. He was working on a movie, so he wasn't there. But Rebel County Dogs, let's go to work. It was incredible. I'm going to touch base quickly. So, chained to the pole elimination, number one contenders match, Owen Richards won that. So obviously we had Owen Richards, CBL, Steve Carville, Fabio Martin Stairs, and the guest and the announcement was Steve Savage returned to Cork. He is RCW, and what an entrance, what a pop. We're looking forward to seeing Steve Savage at future RCW events. And he was announced as well, guys, for the PAV on November. We'll have all the details towards the end of the show. But the number one contenders match, Owen Richards won that and cashed in and beat LJ Clary after an epic match where we've seen LJ Clary defeat Mac Andrews in one of the matches of the year. And then Owen Richards came out and cashed in and won. And he is the new RCW World Champion. And we spoke to Owen Richards after the match. That interview will be up, guys, on our YouTube channel in the next couple of hours. But Phil, first of all, you know Owen Richards quite well. He's he's a shrewd man, the saviors, himself, Andy, and Anita Vaughan, and we love him. He's so focused, so determined. Yet again, he's the new RCW World Champion, Phil. And what's your thoughts on hearing that? Because we put it into our little chat group, and you were like, holy moly. How did this happen? What happened? And what happened? But it's obviously huge.
Yeah, it's massive. Like, he's been ready for a while. We know like the last year they've been the best thing really about RCW for so long. Him and LJ and the whole savior stuff has been the best. You know what I mean? So It's great to see him finally get a chance, and now is his chance to run with it for the next year. Hopefully he has a good run. He deserves it, to be fair.
Definitely. And look, speaking of that number one contenders match, you have the likes of Owen Richards, CBL, Steve Carville, Fabio, Martin Stairs, and Steve Savage. It was great to see Steve Savage back in Cork and on an RCW show, and he's been announced for the next one, Phil, the PAV in November. So obviously, it's great to have Steve back in Cork. And I spoke to Steve after that show as well, and we spoke about that time we actually interviewed Steve in the corner. If you remember the first Phoenix show many, many years ago, we had him in the corner right next to, I think it was like one of them vendor machines,
I think he might have been only 6 months in as a wrestler as well around that.
Yeah, it was early days for Steve, but obviously he had a great weekend in the UK. He won a massive title over there, and obviously to return to Cork was epic. And he was very
quiet. They kept that quiet. There's no
they did, and Billy does, you know what I mean? Billy's a genius. Billy Bedlam, he's the guy behind RCW.
But was there a big build up to when he was coming out? Because I didn't.
It was just, it went quiet, and then obviously the team came on, but it was kind of like a build up. It was like a new little intro. Then obviously it kicked in Steve Savage, but the gaff fucking erupted, man. It was like being at All In, or being at Money in the Bank. The pop was incredible. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for him with RCW, because it's great to have him back in Cork. So who knows what the future holds?
Yeah,
it was unreal. But I have to give a shout out as well to obviously Fabio, CBL, Steve, and Martin Stairs. Like, guys, you know what I mean? This was a serious contenders match. So props and credit where it was due. New tag team champions, Phil, the Bearded Beauties. They cashed in.
I'm delighted
They
for
won.
Butch. I'm delighted for Butch.
Yeah. Butch is iconic. But it was a great match. Obviously, look, Galaccini, you know what I mean? Axel, obviously Phil Boyd, you know what I mean? We had, Justy. We had, obviously, Tucker and Matt Schuyler. And to see Tucker there, what a specimen. But, like, you look at Phil Boyd and you look at Justy. These guys are iconic in Irish wrestling. Axel and Galaccini, you know what I mean? Fucking iconic. And obviously, they look the Bearded Beauties. They're incredible. And they are the new tag team champions.
Yeah, amazing. Delighted for him. Really, really well deserved. It's been a long time coming.
It has been.
Butch has been Butch has had some year when you really think of all the like he's been, what's the word for that? Dark horse, but he's sort of been the most underrated for so long.
Yeah.
He's been so good for so long. It's good to see get this chance and run with it. And now hopefully it lead to another, as I said earlier, long reign. Long reigns are good.
Definitely. I think, look, first of all, the match was incredible, but look, it was well deserved. Like any of the lads could have won that and would have deserved it. But I think this tag team division is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds and bring on the path. I can't wait for that in particular. It's going to be a great night. So obviously the bill, and it was announced that Katie Harvey would take on Anita Vaughn. Now, Anita Vaughn was there, but the match was changed. And in the midst, we got another big surprise. Moila G, Phil, a girl that we know from NXT, a girl that's the Belfast Women's Champion. The Titanic Belfast Women's Champion.
Yeah.
Titanic's in Belfast. And she won, and she is the new, obviously, Titanic champion. But in Cork, she came out, and she came out to a huge pop. Great swagger. I think she's going to be huge. She really is. We've seen her obviously No Limits. We've seen her around the country, but she really put on a good match with Katie Harvey. Katie's the queen of Irish wrestling. It's always a pleasure to see Katie wrestle. She's definitely enjoying it. Had a brief chat. Myself and Katie spoke about obviously parenthood and wrestling's our escape away from that. Even though look, we love our kids and all that, but it's just it's great to see Katie wrestle, and it's always a pleasure to see her back in Cork.
It was like, again, she was probably, was it your first ever interview on camera?
Yeah, I think I've said that. I was only chatting to Billy Bellum about that the other day, and the first on-camera interviews we'd done was obviously Katie, Ricky Combat, and Lee Killarn, and Katie was the first. So she was my first ever on-camera interview, I think almost 8 years ago. So surreal, surreal. She's been around so long, and yet again looks $1 million, and she's got a big 2023 ahead. But Moila G, Phil, she is definitely she's definitely going to reach the top as well. And same with Tucker. Tucker is an absolute specimen.
Yeah. Do you remember seeing Tucker fight Jordan? Is it? Or did he fight?
We seen him backstage in Belfast for WWE. Remember, he was in the back, and we kind of shook his hand, and obviously he fought in that card, But yeah, it was absolutely surreal. Surreal. The match that kind of got everyone talking was the Sam versus Mr. Charlie. And we don't know what happened to Mr. Charlie afterwards. Obviously, there was a stipulation that whoever lost the match would lose their gimmick. Mr. Charlie lost, Bill, and things turned really sour towards our very own Matt Murphy after the match. So we tried to grab him for an interview, and we had to get the fuck out of there. It was something that we're not used to seeing. We've never seen him.
We'll wait for people to see it rather than say anything.
Yeah, I think you just need to watch the interview with we did try to grab Mr. Charlie, but it turned quite nasty. So we just hope he's okay. Mr. Charlie, if you're watching, we hope you're okay, my man. Obviously the gimmick is gone. That was the terms on the match, but it was quite scary to see what happened afterwards, Phil. And I'm gonna leave it for the fans to watch. But it's I just hope he's okay. Hopefully, he can go and get a hillbillies and a breast in the bone and go for a walk. Go for a game of pool. Hopefully that helps them out. Cork is a very special place, but Mr. Charlie, we hope you're okay. And just keep the head up, bro. Keep the head up. Congratulations to the Sem. Guy's an absolute fan favorite. He's absolutely adored by the fans, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Sem at more RCW events in due course. The main event, guys, was LJ Clary versus Mark Andrews, 5-star match. And it was the equivalent of something you'd see, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, on NXT. LJ Clary got the win, Phil. Obviously Mark Andrews, just coming short, but it was a great match. 5-star match yet again. Look, when you put the two lads together, it's a match made in heaven. And I will say this as well. I'm looking forward to seeing future bouts between both in due course. And we have some big news on LJ Clary, guys. We'll have that towards the end of the show. But LJ is on the move for a couple of weeks, couple of months, and it's well deserved. Look, it's something that we've spoken about for numerous weeks, but now we know exactly what's happening. And we're going to wish LJ the best of luck. And look, we'll mention towards the end of the show where LJ is off to. So do stay tuned on that one, guys. It's been a mad show. Reardon O'Connor and Raven Creed. What a fucking match that was. Grueling from start to finish. I think Reardon could still be in hospital after getting whipped around the place and with belts and kendo sticks and all sorts of stuff. But it was Raven Creed is on an absolute mission to destroy everything in her path when it comes to wrestling. She is incredible. And we mentioned afterwards, Phil, that we'd love to see her in Stardom in out across the seas, in Japan. That's something that I love to see, even NXT, but I think Stardom is definitely somewhere where Raven should go. I think they need to offer her something fast because she is something else. But what was your thoughts prior to hearing Reardon O'Connor versus Raven Creed? Because look, we know there was a bit of history there.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you heard about that match, you were excited.
I saw the match and I was like, this could be show stealer. Obviously, I'll watch it when it comes on. It's probably on. Is it this Friday? Is it? Do you usually come out to Friday?
Yeah.
I'll watch it when it comes on. But I thought it would be a show stealer, and I probably would have said, if I was before the show, I would have said this would be my show stealer match of the night. And I'm assuming they didn't leave you down.
No, it was epic.
They
absolutely
really
epic.
Everything out there, I'd say.
Yeah, it was epic. There was a lot of stuff went down in that match. A lot of fans got involved. A lot of fans got missed by near inch with maneuvers and stuff. It was epic. It was exactly what the fan wanted, to see. If you're a wrestling fan, it's exactly what the fan wanted to see. It was really, really good. And I'm looking forward. I don't think it's done, Phil. I think there could be a couple of trilogies with this one. I really don't think it's done. I think there's going to be a couple of more matches in due course announced. So let's wait and see what happens there. But it's oh man, what a card. Jay Money was victorious as well. He was back in Cork. I had a little dance with Jay Money at the start. Actually, he told me to stand up off my seat, and I had a little boogie with him outside the ring. But yeah, you know what I mean. He had a great victory over Sam the Bullet. So yeah, it was epic. It was epic. Really good night. All the interviews, guys, will be up in the next 24 hours. There's a few clips on our Instagram page. I am using the Instagram page for more than 3 weeks now, which is incredible, and we're getting lots of followers. I understand one of the most important parts of having, a hobby, a product, as we like to call it. It's you have to operate the Instagram page and the Twitter page and the Facebook page. And that's something that we haven't done for years. I've been guilty to say that I've not done that. But Twitter is always flying. Instagram, we're enjoying it at the moment. And Facebook, we'll get to that. But look, do subscribe to Wrestleslam on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. Also, guys, don't forget, the 24th of September, Eric Bischoff will be at Cypress Avenue, Cork. Get your tickets now ASAP at eventbrite.ie. I know there's not that many left. It's going to be a busy night. I'm back. Eric Bischoff comes to Cork to talk about all these WCW stories, WWE stories, Impact, and more. So make sure you get tickets for Eric Bischoff at Cypress Avenue, Cork with Inside the Ropes. That'll be a great night. We also have to wish Hacksaw Jim Duggan a fast and speedy recovery. We're big fans of Hacksaw, and he's actually got relatives in Cork, which is bizarre. So Hacksaw Jim Duggan, we love you, buddy. Get better soon, because you're such an inspiration, such a positive guy. I love watching your videos, and when you're on your travels and stuff. So look, we're wishing you a speedy recovery, and we do hope to see you in the near future as well. I feel like I'm talking too much, Phil. Jesus Christ. You haven't got a word in yet. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Phil's he's watching me. What do you want to talk about, Phil? Look, there's so many things that we have to talk about. So
yeah, I was just waiting for you to say what you need to say. That's all good.
Oh, but, man. Jesus,
there's actually a lot of stories that are just really small, but they're not really big. Well, They are big, but you know what I mean.
Mm.
There's one with Becky Lynch not being allowed into India because her passport had a small tear.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, the story apparently is it official? I think that's what was said, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
there was a tear.
She didn't make the trip. They actually refused to let her into India.
Yeah, that's a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just stories like that. And then there's a story about Matt Riddle was sexually assaulted, he claims, at JFK Airport by the police.
Was that recently? Yeah.
This was the other day. He said, "I'm never using JFK Airport ever again."
Well, that's gonna be
he
hard.
But he posted a picture of the police officer as well, so this could get really nasty and serious. Because to say you were sexually assaulted by a police officer is pretty damning.
And he put up a picture as well, yeah.
And he put up a picture of the cop as well.
I don't know how I missed that one. That's pretty serious. That is, yeah, like that could go either way. You know what I mean? That's
almost like that thing like in Friends where Joey said that he was putting, they were measuring his pants and they were measuring pants the wrong way.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
So it probably was a search or something, and he probably touched him in a probe. I don't know the actual full story.
Yeah, and you don't fuck with Matt Riddle because he's a former UFC fighter. At this point, he can bang, he can hit like. So yeah, it's for him to put that up, and he's not really a controversial guy. He's not really in headlines. I know he's got the weed issues in the past, which is probably that's nothing because
he likes to lay back and be chill.
It's legalized in most parts of America, but like Matt Riddle's a great guy. I really like him. Hopefully this could all be resolved in a professional manner and there's no shit about it, you know what I mean? But obviously he feels like he was touched inappropriately and that's not a good thing. And then so yeah, look. Best we don't really talk and go too deep into that because it could be dangerous.
Stories like that were out there.
Yeah. And Gunter, I'm just going to mention something on Raw tonight. Gunter is there's going to be like a little celebration for Gunter tonight.
Yeah.
Why do I have a feeling on Raw tonight? Someone's going to come back and something's going to happen.
Well, I suppose before we start our Raw tonight's historic.
Yeah, it is. It's historic in a sense that me and Phil might actually stay up and watch it tonight.
Yeah, there's a good chance because I don't need to be up super early, but I need to be up early, but not super early. But I'll try and watch as much as I can anyway. But tonight is the end of an era, really, isn't it? Really.
An end of a massive era because if you look at this way, we grew up and we've seen Vince McMahon on our screens for over 30 years, right? So obviously the takeover, apparently it's all going to happen tonight. It's going to be the first time in the history of WWF, WWE that Vince McMahon is no longer in full control.
Yeah.
Obviously he sold it. He's got a good price. You know what I mean? He sold shares. So obviously, look, he's going to be a very wealthy man now. I don't know why he's selling it because Vince is at that age where, like, you know what I mean? He should really enjoy life and he can do that. Now, I know he's got other ventures and there's other things on the side, but it is a very, very sad day if you look at the McMahons and they no longer have full control. Yeah. You have to include Triple H into that category. I have this vision of Stephanie, Shane, Vince, Linda, and obviously Triple H all standing.
There's a story came out last week that if Shane McMahon got any sort of power, Triple H would walk. I don't know how true this is.
Do you reckon that's because they don't see eye to eye, or is it just because he respects Shane? And he's like, look, Shane, if you get a certain control of this company, I'm going to step to the side and let you do it. What do you reckon it is?
I'm going to say it's they don't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but something must have happened. It's a sad story, like, because it's the whole thing of being working with each other for years and then having this little fallout. If you get this, communication is all it is.
Yeah. Well, like, if you look at it from this perspective, right? Shane McMahon is the son of Vince McMahon. So when you look at like a business, you say, all right, look, it's left to the kids or, to your son to take over. Right now, Vince has obviously sold WWE.
Yeah.
And there's obviously, look, we know Stephanie has shares, Shane has shares, I think Triple H has shares. There's a lot of people that have shares, but like the main shareholders would be Triple H, Linda, Vince.
Yeah.
Such and such, right? So they've sold the company. No, I think they obviously still have a percentage built there.
Well, they do, but it'll become a lot smaller come tomorrow.
It's under the 50%, which means they don't have full control. So say it's 52-48, which
like
means
between them all, they probably have like 48% or 47%.
yeah, which is
after tomorrow.
It's still a lot, but it means they can't.
But that means like Vince
their
probably
says no more. Yeah.
Well, Vince probably has 20, Triple H probably has 10. You know,
yeah.
sort of stuff like that.
But they don't have the final say anymore, which is scary.
Like the problem is, like, yeah, exactly. What's going to happen is what we're all going to be curious about, because there could be firings and they're going to bring in their own people. They say they won't, but like, you know what happens after a year when things are not going well.
Yeah, well, you have to look at what they've done with the UFC. They never really changed much. Dana White's still there, still on his salary, sold it for $4 billion. So you wonder, will they stick to what's what? But it's a very sad area, because like we grew up as kids, teenagers, you know what I mean, children watching, you know, staying up on a Sunday night, going to school Monday morning. It's a massive part of our life, and I always say I love the wrestling universe and the community, because it brings the kid out in you, like, you know what I mean? It really does. If you go to a show, it's just the entertainment factor, it's everything. But it is a sad moment. I think if I see Vince walk out tonight and say goodbye, I think I'll be quite emotional, and I might even cry.
Yeah, it's hard to know what they're going to do tonight, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really is. But I think they won't go mad, but it's still, it really is kind of a sad moment. Like, you really have to sit and think about it for a minute. Go, this is actually the end of that man. 40 years.
Yeah, it's scary. And you think in them 40 years, like, we weren't even born when it first kicked off, but like, it's the stuff that we've seen, the wrestlers we've seen, the moments, the pay-per-views, everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
But again, like, there's so many moments, just so much. We wouldn't be like, we'd be here all day if we were to go through all the classic moments, but like, they're just
can I ask you a question? And I know we're completely random here, you know, like we don't really script a show, which I think is a good thing. We have an idea most times what we're going to talk about, but we never script it. We don't know exactly how we're going to talk about agendas and topics. But what is your favorite moment? And I know it's hard to pick one, Phil.
WWE,
yeah.
Eddie Guerrero winning the World Medals.
And WWF. I love that the fact that Eddie
WWF, Bret Hart WrestleMania 10
against Austin.
No, against Yokozuna.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Like, I, as a child, I was just obsessed with like that, as well as brilliant moment as well. But Bret Hart versus Owen Hart and Bret Hart versus Yoko. WrestleMania 10 is probably in my top 2 WrestleMania. I think it's brilliant. People don't like it as much, but I love it. Like, WrestleMania 10. If I push comes to shove, it's, as a fan, I would say it's my favorite, but realistically, 17 is the best.
Best
so
Mania
it's
ever.
very hard for me to say one over the other.
Yeah.
But WrestleMania 10 and 17 are the 2 best. As a fan, every time I watch WrestleMania 10, there's a smile on my face, and it's not a long show. It's like 2 hours 30 or 40.
Yeah,
it's very good, lad.
Oh, I love it. So favorite moment, WWE, Eddie Guerrero becoming champion, and then WWF.
That whole thing,
Bret Yoka.
There's that promo before. I'm not going to go into it because I get upset about it, because it's just so good.
Yeah. No, it was magic.
What about yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's why I love being put in the spot. I think for me, WWF would be one of the moments I was most pissed off about. But yet again, when I look at it now, it was genius. Was when Austin won the Royal Rumble in '97, where Bret came out and started beating the shit out of Austin, and then Austin got fucked over the rope, and obviously then Bret threw out the Undertaker, and I think it was Undertaker Diesel, maybe.
I think it was Vader.
Oh yeah, Undertaker and Vader, and then
think
obviously
it was
he's
Vader,
in the ring.
but don't quote me, but yeah.
And then Austin then throws him over. For me, that's one of them things I'll never forget. I always think about that moment.
Yeah.
The screw job is obviously up there as well, but I think Austin winning that Rumble was massive turning point to something that was huge. WWE, that's a great question. I'm going to try and think of this in the next 10 seconds. So I'm going to say, and you probably think I'm a right cheesy fucker for saying this, right?
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble.
it's a very good moment. It's just a shame he never got to do the crowd thing.
Yeah, I think the pop, the story, I think the momentum, I think the background, the fact he got fired and came back. I'm a right sucker for Drew.
Yeah.
And I think for me that moment was incredible where he won that Royal Rumble. Obviously, he went on to huge things afterwards. I still maintain Drew's going to win numerous like WWE World Championships in due course. But for me, that Royal Rumble was magic. You know, the whole Scotland thing, you know, Ireland, the fact that Sheamus done it for Ireland, you know, Balor, but Drew doing it for Scotland was incredible. To me, that was a big moment. Now, there's other moments in my head, Phil, but I'm going to say that. I really love that moment.
I think it's one of the best moments in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it was just magic. Seeing even the videos.
It just, when you think about it, you smile and then you're going, "Oh God, he's no fans when he wins the belt."
Yeah, I think that part was horrible, but I just remember the videos of all the bears in Scotland.
I know it's off topic, but like I read a lot of people would say, "Oh, he should have beaten Reigns," but no.
Is that a Clash of the Castle? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, not a hope. Like,
yeah.
No, not for me. Like Reigns, was 3 years as champion. Like, if you told me back in 2005 when I was height of wrestling, and you're like, "Oh, one day there's going to be a champion that's going to be over 4 years," I would have probably said, "You're laughing or you're joking." No, not a hope.
Yeah.
Them days are gone. Like the 8 years that Bruno Sammartino and all these fellas had it for 6, 7, 8 years.
You wonder, like back in them days, in that would have been the 70s.
But they only defended the belt like 5, 6 times a year. Like, people need to realize that they didn't have these big matches.
No, and they obviously were athletic. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take.
Oh yeah, they were athletic, but the big matches were like once every 2 months.
Yeah.
There's not a match every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like there is these days.
Yeah. No, I'm glad we spoke about that, because look, obviously it's good to be put on the spot. That's why I love the podcast. It's not scripted. We talk and we randomly say stuff.
Okay, I have one more tip for you on the spot again, if you can remember.
Yeah.
Because the next topic is, I was going to bring up Impact 1,000 episodes. Is there any Impact moment that you remember that stands out? Because the 1,000.
Do you remember Angle doing the running moonsault?
Yeah, I do.
And he landed on Abyss, was it?
Abyss, yeah.
Abyss, sorry, yeah. Fucking. I think that. I used to love the main event Mafia. Moment for me, I think I'm gonna have to say that time Jay Lethal and Ric Flair had that little woo. Impact was fucking epic. It was back then, as you know, Phil. It was epic. Obviously in the National Stadium, Dublin. I was lucky enough to get to the one in the Tree Arena and do the meet and greet. And I just remember meeting, Mick Foley, meeting Bobby Roode and Bear Money's a tag team that should have been brought to WWE. But anyway,
100%.
It can still happen. They're still a good Nick James, Storm and Bobby. But look, yeah, for me, I think all of AJ's matches. But that time Jeff Hardy fought Sting, that was a bit fucked up.
that was nearly killed the company, like.
That was messed up, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think Hogan was a failure in Impact. I think Flair.
Okay, he wasn't brilliant, but okay.
Okay, yeah, I think Hogan realised his time was really up. I'm not taking nothing away from Hulk Hogan.
Sting was good in Impact.
Sting was good, yeah. Jeff Jarrett was good, I think. Jeff Jarrett's still good, by the way. Jesus, man, that man looks $1 million. I need to find out what he's doing in life to look like a 22-year-old. But Jeff, we love you, man. We have to get you back on the show. But look, even in All Elite there, he looks $1 million. Yeah. Even at the Royal Rumble, he looked $1 million. Jeff can go on in a title run.
Yeah. Yeah. You put Jeff in the main event tomorrow, like I buy you.
Oh, he looks the part. He hasn't aged a day. And Jeff, we want to see you in Cork, man. We want to see you in Dublin. Get over if Kenny inside the ropes can book you, or if you're doing something else on the side, come to Cork, come to Cypress Avenue, come to any venue in Cork. The fans want to see you, so please come to Ireland.
It would actually be class to see him.
It'd be sick, and we will take you to the Blarney Castle. If you drink alcohol, we'll bring you to the local Cork Bears. Double J. Oh yes, Jeff Jarrett, come to Ireland.
Conrad Thompson surely has insider scoops to try and get it just to happen.
Yeah, we need to make it happen. Jeff Jarrett in Ireland towards the end of the year, early next year. Let's make it happen. Let's start the trend. We want Double J Jeff Jarrett in Ireland, in Cork. So let's make it happen. Right, Phil, what else do we have to talk about? We've got about 5 minutes left.
Just Impact 1,000 episodes is it's some achievement to get to 1,000. There's a lot of special guests on this week that we won't spoil or anything, but tune in Thursday. There's a lot of faces from the past.
Yeah, which is always a good thing when it comes to wrestling.
Also, absolutely over the moon with Mike Tenay and Don West being into the Hall of Fame. And these men deserve a clap because they really are. They were so good. Unbelievable.
Don was I used to love both of them, but Don in particular. Don
Saturday nights this year.
Yeah.
Earlier this year.
Don was a great guy. Remember seeing him at WrestleCon.
Yeah. He was always energetic. He was always full of energy, and he was some man. Mike Tenay as well would be great to see Mike actually back for his Hall of Fame. For it would be big time. It's good. Impact are slowly on the way back because they've upgraded their cameras, so now it looks the business.
It does, and it is the business. And Phil Connolly will be in attendance in the UK this October.
Looking forward to it.
Wrestleslam will be in the house, so keep an eye on our socials that week in general. That'll be epic. It will be.
I don't see much anything else. In terms of story, I suppose AEW have WrestleDream in a month's time.
Yeah, that'll be good enough. I think they're coming off 2 good pay-per-views.
They announced their first match for it. Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr.
That is a good match. Good old Zack. Zack, what was kind of good on with Zack the last couple of years? Obviously, I remember we met him in OTT.
I think he just likes doing his own stuff. I don't think he wants to be tied down.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that's really going to benefit him. But it's just this guy's incredible. Like, he's one of the best in the world. I'd love to see him against Ospreay at All Elite.
Yeah. Speaking of Ospreay, I suppose we should, just before we do go, Ospreay leads me to LJ Clary, because you saying you had some news before we wrap up.
Yeah, so obviously, guys, we know on Saturday in Cork, LJ Clary defeated Mark Andrews in an absolute epic match, 5-star, just like all of LJ and Mark's matches. It was grueling from start to finish, a pure technician of a match. Obviously, Owen Richards cashed in. He's #1 contenders briefcase. He beat LJ. The rumor mill has been flying for many, many months, Phil, as you know. We didn't know what was happening. There was a few posts that went up. So we were kind of saying, is he going to go to NXT? Is he going to go straight to the main roster? Is he going to go to Impact? Is he going to go to Japan? Is he going to go elsewhere? But it has been confirmed, Phil, as you've seen, that LJ Clary is going to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Which is a good. Yeah, Noah. It's one of the biggest organizations in the world. And he was in the UK, and obviously with Progress. Now, this is something that was probably set up prior to what I'd say.
Yeah.
He kind of knew it was going to happen, but obviously they offered him the contract, and it's a huge contract. I think, obviously to wrestle out there is massive. I hope he keeps his team out there. It's a beautiful life. Congratulations to LJ Clary. Look, a man, I've seen, I think it was his very first match, and definitely seen his first match, in Cork. We just love him to bits. He's always been great to us, you know what I mean? But it's going to be sad to see him not in this country for a while. Now, obviously, it's going to be great to watch him online.
Some experience and some journey he's going to be on in the next 6 months.
It's a similar path, in my opinion, to Finn Balor. Yeah. Balor went out that direction, done the exact same thing.
And around the same age as well. Yeah,
we know what Balor's done since. LJ Clary is destined for absolute greatness, and I'm not just saying that. He really is. We've every match, against Pac, against Mark Andrews, against Matt Cardona, every single match against all the local stars.
All 5-star matches.
Always 5-star. Even when he was a trio, and he's done stuff in the past. In stables, the man is just everything going for him. Yeah. The pop in Cork on Saturday night, I didn't think it'd be his last But it's going to be his last for a while, obviously. But look, incredible, and we're going to miss him here in Ireland over the next couple of months. But Japan is the destination. It's a Beautiful Life is coming to Japan, and we're going to miss him. That's my excuse to get to Japan, Phil.
Yeah, there we go.
That's our excuse to get to Japan.
I've always wanted to go there. It's just I need to get there. Yeah.
LJ, keep room. If we're going to come over, I'm sure he'll give us the coach. I don't think he'll mind us being on the coach. But look, yet again, LJ, look, I'm not going to get sobby, but look, he's always been great to us. I know we've done so many interviews over the years. This guy is incredible. And just like many Irish stars gone across the seas, like when we talk about Sheamus, Balor, Fifth Finlay, Jordan Devlin, Becky Lynch, LJ Clary. I'm forgetting loads, you know what I mean? I know there's obviously Aoife Valkyrie. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we're going to miss you. Yeah. We've watched him, you know what I mean? Boy to man. He was only a little chap when he first started, and still is a young chap. But look, oh man, I'm getting emotional, Phil. But it's great to see people get stuff they deserve. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He deserves it, and we've been lucky.
We'll end this podcast with a beautiful life.
Yes, it's a beautiful life. LJ Clary, congratulations, bro. From myself and Phil, we're going to leave it on a beautiful note. Guys, thank you for tuning our way. Don't forget, all our interviews will be up in the next 24 hours from RCW in the Kino Cork. Tickets will be on sale very soon for the PAV November. We'll have Billy Bellamon with us in a while. We have an Impact star in the next coming days as well. And there's a few indie stars that I've not said much about, but they are coming on in the next couple of days as well. So just keep an eye on our page. We have some very special guests incoming. So look for myself, Jerry Collin from Philip Connolly. Thank you for tuning our way. Big thanks to our media partners, manscaped.com and the Macau Casino Cork City. Matt will be back next week, guys. But until then, keep it locked. Keep it to Wrestleslam. And thank you, as always. Adios.